yes, this is Shane Betting here. Yes, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Welcome to Friday. We got a barn burner today because I got a beef with somebody. And right now I'm going to go ahead and get it out of the way. The Super Bowl live broadcasting is going dark. So get ready. It's coming. I'm predicting it. I'm a sage. I'm a mystique. I'm psychic. I'm telling you, the Super Bowl live broadcast is going dark for 5 minutes this year. So, okay, I caught something. Well, actually, I caught it this morning. Because at first I liked the interview with Bray Wyatt and Stone Cold on his podcast. And then I realized something. That Stone Cold does not need to have top heels that are on TV on his freaking podcast. I cannot believe Vince and Triple H let him do that. I can't believe they okayed to do that. There it comes back to my whole argument with Bray Wyatt. And, I told you a couple years back, I believe it was whenever he wrestled Cena at WrestleMania, that he goes on there. First off, he goes on social media saying, "Oh, I can't wait to work with John Cena. We've been talking it out." Hello, you idiot. You're supposed to be the one replacing The Undertaker. And The Undertaker, even though he shows up at USC events and he marks out to them, but Undertaker does not come out of character because it's easy for him to do The Undertaker and enough said. But it makes me wonder now, when Bray Wyatt does all this stuff and he shows all these, good old boy traits on how, his believability has really, really shot down. And then you have Stone Cold, which he'll never be me as far as creativity. I guarantee you that. So first off, he doesn't know anything about the chakras and meditation and the third eye and how to turn on your creativity level to my level. So, with that being said, Stone Cold needs to start doing a little bit more research and start coming up with better stuff. Talk to some older guys. Talk to the guy that pinned you in Dallas. Talk to Chris Youngblood on your podcast, you freaking idiot. Come on. When you do that, especially Bray Wyatt, because I'm almost to the point where I think they need to pull the Wyatts off TV because their believability is not, it's just not there. There's no suspension of disbelief anymore with them. They had a good thing going. They had one of the best things going there was. They were cutting great promos. They were doing good vignettes with them. And then Bray Wyatt goes on social media and says, "Oh, I can't wait to wrestle John Cena. I'm looking forward to it. We've been talking about it." Then he says, "We've been talking about it" on Facebook. Now, the average wrestling fan loves the crap, but to the guys that know the business, no. It's a damn miracle. See, all those guys got to be grateful for Vince because it's Vince's marketing and that's keeping them afloat. It's not really the talent. The talent really ain't doing it. It's Vince's marketing. Vince is the one to create them. Natty and Charlotte, they could draw money on their own. John Cena, I'm sort of like Flair. I think he could draw money on his own. I think Batista could draw money on his own. Triple H could draw money on his own. But maybe Roman Reigns. I'm not for sure he could draw money on his own. If you dropped him into Georgia Championship Wrestling or Mid-Atlantic, I'm not too sure he could draw money. So I know Dean Ambrose can't. I know Seth Rollins. If you put him in Mid-Atlantic, he could not draw money. So, that's That's being truthful. I mean, I don't think Daniel Bryan could draw money on his own either. You know, I think his wife could. I think Nikki and Bree could, but I don't think Daniel Bryan could draw money on his own. But see, I was talking to a friend of mine. I got this friend. In a way, I relate to Vampiro. I got a friend who's got about 30 years sober. Me and him was talking, and I was trying to explain to him because he knows he follows my stuff on Facebook, and he knows how hard I track the business. You never stop on the psychology side of the business. That's one thing Stone Cold did nail it on. You don't ever think about how the shows could be better. I don't know. If it came down to it, eventually Vince is going to call me to come to work for him. It's like the whole Eve Marie deal. If his PR people and his creative people and his people doing research, I don't know how big the research department is in the Titan Towers. All right, but get ready. Here it comes. Here it comes. Here it comes. I'm getting ready to say something that no other podcaster will say. Here it comes. It's coming from me. Get your cameras ready, folks. Get your recorders ready. But with Eve Marie, with that whole controversy behind the Miss Universe deal, and see, Vince and his people needs to start keeping track of, like say after the Miss Universe, okay, it starts getting tied to the Illuminati and all that. Well, see, he's got the one girl that he could do something with that off of and take all that conspiracy theorist stuff and tie that into the show with Eve Marie. Let her do the CERN Super Collider Warship dance. I mean, bring her out, dress her up in something almost like dang near off the dang Matrix. And, you know, she's a real pretty girl. See, Ben, they're not taking advantage of her. They could almost tie her and Becky Lynch into something, and really Paige. Put them in full-body black suits. I know this is revolutionary. This is revolutionary. This is exclusive. This is exclusive. But put them into full-body suits, black suits, and tie them together. And you got that whole deal where it ties to that whole side that's really hillish, where you got to be exotic looking to do it. I don't think Bailey could never do it. Bailey's good, but she could never do it. She's a hometown. She has that hometown girl look, like the girl next door, almost like a Hooters chick. You know what I'm saying? Which I know for a fact because I've talked to those people, you know, management and Hooters. That's the kind of girls they look for. They could do a lot more with those four girls. Creative and the WWE's research department and the PR department at Titan Towers is not doing their homework. So, with that being said, you know, back to the Stone Cold deal, you know, I mean, when Stone Cold brings somebody that's live on, you know, that's on TV every night, and on top of that, he's a heel. See, heels shouldn't even be allowed to sign autographs. You know, you stay in character. If Vince was doing those shows right, he would be using the real police, real ambulance personnel, and because the real effect's gone. I believe it was during the summer I was watching a show where he was using police that looked like bad rental cops. They weren't even, I don't even think they were security with him. And the whole security deal, see, it ain't worth a dang to do the security deal anymore on a breakup on a WWE show because everybody knows the security guys are workers coming up. TNA used to do that for a long time. I used to talk to Bruno Sassy when I was living in Fort Lauderdale, Florida at Pompano Beach, and they was using kids from Jimmy Snuka School as security at TNA shows. So I'm not BSing around on that. You heard it here first, folks. I'm telling you the truth on the business. So whenever Stone Cold does that, and he's trying to use one of them that's currently on TV, a top heel on top of that, well, that just kills their heat. And Vince, Stone Cold, Triple H, Stephanie, when Stephanie gets back from going to Yale, so she can, because she needs to go to Yale for one semester to upgrade her gimmick. So, and she needs to get pictures with the Skull and Bone guys. She needs to do whatever it takes, give them a blowjob or do whatever it takes to go down there and get involved with the Skull guys. And at least get a picture there so she can use it. Pay them $100,000 for one night so she can get a picture in the Skull's chamber. That will help Stephanie's gimmick. See, Stephanie ain't even doing her homework. So it's like, if you did that, you would have it would be so believable, it's not even funny. And see, you got a big, the WWE is not drawing the money they could be making, and there's a lot of reasons why. One, Vince ain't protecting the business. Two, the PR department is just, well, you could tie this all into protecting the business. The PR department jumps the gun too much on. They shouldn't be announcing everybody that's coming in and leaving and all that. The one time they should have done something, they didn't do it with CM Punk. And CM Punk, basically off those interviews he's done, has made them look like idiots. You know, and he's probably going to get paid. I don't want to go into the whole UFC fight, CM Punk's fight being a work, but it's going to be a work. So you might as well get ready for that. But Vince ain't protecting the business. They're not thinking stuff out. It's just, there's a lot they got to do. They almost need to start doing a lot more house shows again to get their talent back up. They need to start going back on the road 6 days a week, 6 and 7 days a week, almost working somewhere every night. Because right now, they need to go back to some old school qualities. They need to hold everybody back. Now, see, Flair doesn't put anybody that's on his podcast that's on TV right then. You know, Colt Cabana doesn't. As far as I know, Colt Cabana doesn't. Conan doesn't. Jericho doesn't. I mean, but, you know, that may be the deal, that there may be too many guys from WWE that's doing podcasts right now. So really the one guy that could do a podcast and probably do it, you know, really good is Sean from Damn Kayfabe Commentaries. So, I mean, there's so much there, and his interviews are so good. But I think Vince has got to get a hold of this thing in a hurry, because eventually, you know, they didn't capitalize on the Conor McGregor, you know, Jesus quote. They should have hammered that away. Instead, Vince keeps on saying somebody's going to get killed in the ring in the UFC. That ain't cutting it. Vince has lost his hunger. Vince is like Dale Earnhardt Jr. He's turned out to be like Dale Earnhardt Jr. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is not going to never be a champion, you know, if he keeps on going like this. It's going to take something catastrophic where they just hand it to him. But Vince has almost got to be that same way. And, you know, he's number two. He's number one as far as the wrestling, but on the pay-per-view, he's number two. So, I don't know. There's a lot that needs to be going on there. They got to really, really revamp their whole system. They got to look at the way they're doing business. You know, I said yesterday, if I had the book WrestleMania, and I wouldn't do it every year, WrestleMania is when I drop a heel faction in during the main event or the semi-main event, completely unannounced to everybody. That way the surprise effect is in. that the people, hardly nobody on the creative side would know it. The rest would know it before they walked out, and that's when I, completely unannounced, bring in 4 guys, 5 guys that could get the job done. You drop them in, then you can live off that for a year. And that's how come I said the Wyatts are right on the verge of being, they almost needed to be pulled off TV. It's either you pull the Wyatts off TV or the whole WWE, except for NXT, goes dark for a month. So they can revamp this thing and think this thing out. Run reruns for a month, round the clock meetings, get all their, not the shareholders, everybody that's involved with PR, creative, talent, developmental, even though developmental is getting to be a cuss word with me because now that's almost getting to be done wrong. Because I caught a glimpse last night. Every match was done on Titan time again. So, and the same thing with TNA. TNA does every one of their matches are on Titan time. They get behind schedule. That's one place where the WWE and TNA has the common denominator. They both operate on Titan time all the time. That's how come the shows are not coming across that good. So both shows need to cut down their talent. I told you how to fix TNA the other day. TNA's got to start doing their homework too, but either the Wyatts get pulled off of TV and they send them all to Stanford and not just have one meeting with them, have a series of meetings with them for a week and have them and sit down with them and watch videos of the Sheik, the original Sheik, the Iron Sheik, Bruiser Brody, which I know Bray already watches, Stan Hansen. Have them listen to interviews with Ricky Morton talking about the way how the business was protected. Have interviews with Gary, make them listen to interviews with Gary Hart as a group. Have them watch the 4 Horsemen video where they talked about where they were connected. See, the Shield, Michael Hayes told the Shield, you guys eat, drink, and sleep together. Well, it's pretty dang obvious that I don't think they were. The Clique was the best faction ever because they all got paid the same. They all talked. There was no backstabbing. So it's like, and now it's getting close to the time where, maybe it may be time for the Divas to carry the load again. Like I said, put together Becky Lynch, Eve, and Paige, and do something. Because evidently the women are going to have to show the guys how to do it. I said that about AJ Styles and Dolph Ziggler. They need to put them together and bring Jim Cornette in so Jim Cornette could be back on the booking committee and they can fix this crap. And I hope to God Dutch Mantell is on that booking committee too. Because I don't see how you could mess up unless those TV people, I heard there's at least 2 TV people who know nothing about wrestling that's on that booking committee. Okay, first off, they need to start doing the booking committee meetings or the creative meetings like a mafia meeting. The wrestling guys with the wrestling background have talked their crap out. You bring the TV guys in and then you go over the formats for the show. And then after that, that's it. But the wrestling guys, Dutch, who's ever on it, Johnny Ace and all them, they need to have their separate meeting and then bring the TV guys in. That's the only way this is going to get fixed. They need to start doing it like the freaking Mafia, doing it like that movie John Gotti with Amon Asante. They need to start doing these sit-downs a hell of a lot better. Because right now, Vince needs to start thinking like William Morris on the PR side. He needs to start dropping the hammer on some people. Whenever somebody messes up, and like that Conor McGregor deal, that was a prime example. He should be ready to roll with it. But you know what? You know what's getting ready to happen is there's going to be a deal coming out about Ronda Rousey probably within the next year, tying her to the Illuminati. And whenever that happens, the WWE needs to make sure that she's on the roster. And she's being used, because whenever that happens, you're over. You're making money. You're a big draw. Like Jay-Z and Beyonce, the minute that gets tied to her, they need to have her on the roster. In fact, I'm going to research that today and see if it's even already started now. Because if it's already started, they need to go sign a contract with her right now, tying up her rights. And at least get a tentative date when she's coming. Because she's coming. Everybody knows she's coming. Even though she's got a lot of work to do cosmetically until she's really going to draw major money in the wrestling business. But if you compare her to other girls, hell, if you compare her to girls down in Fort Lauderdale, she's not that freaking hot. But it's just I don't know. The two top hot girls on the roster right now are freaking taken. I mean, and I don't even like blondes, but Charlotte and Natty sort of do everything cosmetically, and Eve. Paige sort of does. I think Paige was the answer to Abby. I said that yesterday, was their answer to Abby on NCIS. So, because that Abby was over like no tomorrow as far as local TV. In fact, they need to do something with her several times. To tie Abby in with the WWE, because there's another deal where they dropped the ball. I talked about how they dropped the ball with J.J. Watt. And really, they ought to do something with Cam Newton every time they're in Charlotte. There's something for you. That's exclusive. I saw people. I'm not 90% sure, but I don't think they did anything with Cam the last time they were in Charlotte. I know Charlotte, the female wrestler, has took pictures with him, and, she's tying herself to him because that's the babyface thing to do. And, her dad's over in Charlotte, and that's an understatement, but see, their PR department is not doing their homework. They cannot let another deal like J.J. Watt pass them by. I don't think the WWE should never tie themselves to the Kardashians, though, even though it wouldn't be a bad idea to tie themselves to Kylie, but every once in a while. But even though I don't think Kylie can, none of the Kardashians can really talk that good. So, I mean, Khloe's a little bit ghetto, but they need to start doing their homework a hell of a lot better. And it's just down in Miami, one of my friends on Facebook, Mickey Mundy, he has a cult following down there. He will tie them to them one time, at least let him show up one time and get a picture with him being in the ring, or get a camera shot with him being in the ring. It will help the next time about, because then you're starting to care about the actual culture for that area, especially Miami. Miami's got a ton of culture there. It's they're not doing enough as far as that. And, with Stone Cold going out there breaking the suspension of disbelief with Bray Wyatt even farther. I mean, the Wyatts need to be pulled off TV. I mean, that's the only way that's going to fix that. Either the Wyatts going to need to be pulled off TV, or they need to go dark for a month. Or they need to find 4 more horses that can come in And this time they need to go direct opposite from the Shield and the Wyatts. They got to find a way. They got to find a gimmick where they can put together a unit and find 4 guys that are ready right now to come in and be dropped into the main roster. I mean, look, they're not looking hard enough. I don't know how the talent scouts are working out in the South. I've had a theory there for a while. I don't even think they should grab anybody from the South, including Gunner. Because only problem is when you bring Gunner in to the WWE and you got Roman Reigns sitting there, it ain't going to work. That's how come I don't think the Beer Money guy is really going to work either. Because he looks too much, in a way, just, if you look at him from a distance, it's too much like Roman Reigns. And then it gets back into the cookie cutter body deal, and which has been a big argument about the WWE for in the modern eras, that they all look the same. I mean, I know you got to be in shape. You got to be able to go. God, you got to be able to go on their the way they film their shows, because everything's on tight. You got to be able to go. So, they can't go out there and do a 30-minute, segmented match and get it over anymore, unless it's John Cena's involved. So, because John's about the only one that can do that. So, and Taker and Brock, but it's, basically what I've been talking about today is old school principles. Stone Cold is really, really. It's one thing to have a baby face on your podcast, but not a top heel, and not a top heel that has killed everything you got. I just cannot believe Triple H let him do that, or Vince, or whoever's freaking in charge. So it's stupid. It's bad TV. It's bad for business. I know I'm a genius of geniuses. I'm the mastermind. I'm the brain trust. I'm on a higher level. I think I'm wired different than everybody else in the wrestling business. I relate to Vampiro because I read esoteric stuff myself. I do some black magic rituals too. But if they would do that, I talked about a lot today. I talked about Stone Cold hurting the business. Eve Marie and the Super Bowl is going to go dark on the live broadcast come Sunday. But eventually Vince is going to call me. Vince or Triple H is going to eventually call me. Or John Laurinaitis. Michael Hayes. Because they know I'm talking the truth. I'm like Alex Jones to the pro wrestling business. I'm like Bill O'Reilly. The spin stops here. I know what they're doing wrong. They're doing stuff that's worse than the Obama presidency. I mean, get real. The stuff they're doing. What is this? This last 8 years is let's just see how we can take a crap on the wrestling business and the government in our country all at once. It's like, if Jesse, see what they're doing is if they would start tying some of their stuff to the Illuminati stuff, then that would get Jesse Ventura talking. And then when you get, some publicity, bad publicity is better than no publicity. Steve needs to go back to school for a semester to get it at Yale. To upgrade her gimmick. You heard it here. Stone Cold. Quit having freaking top heels that are on TV right now on your show. If you can't get creative, call me up. I'll come help you. Book Chris Youngblood for your show. Let the world know about how he pinned you in Dallas. All right. So, the Super Bowl's going dark this Sunday. Get ready. They're gonna have a TV brain fart. All right. The spin stops here. This is the Texas Talk.